Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cardaholics of all ages, welcome back to Big Al's Cards. Thank you so much for watching. And in today's video, I want to talk about Top Series 1 baseball. It's been out for about a week now, a little over if you include the people who got it early. And something interesting that I've seen a lot of on Twitter and a lot of on other social platforms is that there's a lot of quality control issues that are happening with these cards. So I wanted to kind of talk about some of the issues that I've seen and what this means for fanatics and tops, what this can mean for us as collectors. So let's just go ahead and dig in and talk about some of the stuff that I've seen. So online, I see a lot of people talk about corner issues, edge wear, and this is not necessarily just relegated to base cards. This is really hitting hard on the parallels. There was a guy on Twitter who hit an Ellie De La Cruz Independence Day. Massive card. Except the left edge was totally chewed. The corner was destroyed. And it really hurts the value of the card. There's no chance that card's ever going to get a PSA 10 if he's out of the grade. I don't even know if it would get a 9 or even an 8. It looked that bad. So I've been kind of looking, I mentioned in my opening, I'm looking for a Jason Dominguez gold. That's basically my gold card for Series 1. And I've been looking on eBay for ones that pop up. They're actually going pretty quickly in terms of how long they're online. So, I mean, hey, good for them for getting their money. Because as more enter the market, they're going to go down in value. So I've been looking at these Jasons, and I, of course, want to get a card that is as mint as possible so that I can potentially submit it for grading. And I'd be happy with a 9. Really want a 10, but of course, as long as I can get a 9 with it, that's something that I'm looking for. And I'm really looking at the corners and the edges and everything that's with these cards and the centering as well. So I only pulled one gold in all my Series 1 rips so far, and that was this Clay Holmes gold. And the thing that I've noticed with the gold cards, and I'm going to try to kind of hold it up here, a lot of the corners have some kind of minor defect. So if you'll look on this one right here, this bottom left corner has really obvious whitening. And then over here, there's a little bit just like right there. And then even in the top was more on the right-hand side. So it came out of the pack like that. That didn't necessarily come from me putting it in the sleeve. I'm sure putting it in the sleeve didn't help the situation, if I can put it that way. But it came out of the pack like that. And a lot of the Jasons that I have seen on eBay, a lot of them have some kind of corner issue. This is very similar to what happened last year. I was looking for a Volpe gold, and I couldn't find a centered Volpe gold to save my life. Like, all of them were off-centered in some way, shape, or form. And that also seems to be the case with the golds for Series 1. You'll notice that on the right-hand side, the edge is a good bit thicker than the left. And you might even see a little bit of edge wear right on there. So what in the world is Fanatics doing? Well, that's a great question. Something is up with the printing presses, that the card stock might not be the right one. The blade might not be sharp enough, and it's leaving behind issues. Like there's a whole host of issues that manufacturers might be having, but the issue is still the same. Golds aren't looking as best as they possibly can. And then when you get into those higher value parallels, there's really a lot of quality control issues. Even on the base cards, you will not find a lot of PSA 10s, right? You pull a card out of a pack. I think the immediate assumption in the hobby is that a card pulled out of a pack immediately equals PSA 10. That's not the case. I think Top says it would at least be an 8 or something to that effect. And the thing to consider with this particular set is they all have black borders in some way, shape, or form. So with this Jordan or this Colton Cowser, all those top corners are pretty dinged. Now, that's not from putting it in the sleeve, because I didn't put it in upside down. The bottom looks okay. It's white, so it's going to be harder to tell. But with the black border on top, much easier to see that there's some kind of corner ding. So something happened that, caused all these issues with a lot of the quality control. And if you go on Twitter, you'll find plenty of examples of quality control issues with Series 1, whether it be centering, whether it be corners, whether it be edge wear. It just seems like there wasn't as much care put into this. They put more effort into the design of the set than into the actual manufacturing of the cards. Now, as a collector, that's not the best situation. Now, obviously, the one plus is those who are fortunate enough to get a 10 on a certain copy, they are going to be harder to come by, and therefore increasing the value of those 10s. If you're just collecting, the card for the sake of having the card, it's also not necessarily that big of a deal. At least it isn't as big of a deal to me. Now, I do want to get my Jason Gold that I'm eventually going to buy graded, but I would like it to be a pretty decent copy. So if you're a condition stickler, this is not great. If you are a person who just wants to get the card, it doesn't necessarily matter, but I feel like every collector in some way, shape, or form wants to have as good a copy as possible. So I think it does matter to us ultimately, because you don't want to look at a card and be like, oh, it's got such obvious damage, right? Like, you sometimes can't tell with the PSA 9. Like, I don't know why the Trout in the background got a 9. I'm assuming it's because of the centering. Same thing with the Gargano Gold. I think it's because of centering. And centering is something that, unless it's obviously miscut, is something that a lot of collectors can probably take a pass on. It's the edges and the corners that are going to be more problematic. And as we can see, they're having a lot of issues. They really are. So I am hoping, and I'm hoping with bated breath, because, Fanatics, and it's a monopoly when it comes to trading cards. So they're not necessarily going to care. I mean, we've seen what happened with these jerseys, and they look awful, and they haven't fixed it yet. So I don't know if Fanatics is going to do anything. I hope they do, and I hope that they're listening to these videos and these complaints online to just really try to give these things extra care, extra time. We really, again, you can't open a pack and expect every card to be PSA 10 quality, and I understand that. It's not realistic to expect that. But what I do expect is that there's some care put in so that, not every gold has some kind of corner ding. Not every Independence Day has an edge that looked like it was chewed on by my cat. That's the kind of thing that we care about, is making sure that the manufacturer is doing right by us. I hope that this is a lesson. I hope that this doesn't happen in the future, but I'm, again, holding out with bated breath that something's going to be done about this. If not, it kind of gives us further insight into the future direction of the hobby. So, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. If you've opened Series 1, have you had a lot of condition wear? Have you had corners that are dinged, edges that are chewed? What have you seen online that maybe I haven't seen? Let me know in the comments below. Would love to have further discussion on this. Thank you all so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos, and until next time, bye-bye.